Hello everyone and welcome back to DSP versus the Internet episode 19 for June 24, 2023. This is part 2. If you didn't see part 1 yet, give it a look here on the channel. And I hope that you're enjoying so far. That was a good variety of stuff in part 1. Let's swing right into part 2. We're still watching Ultra membership missions. So if you become an Ultra member of the channel, you're guaranteed to have your video watched on the show 4 times a month. And these are the Ultra members we're getting through right now. Let's see what's next.
I asked 20 doctors from YouTube to give me one health tip they give their patients as it relates to their medical specialty. This video might actually...
All right, this is 11 minutes long. I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing. This is the same guy, Dr. Mike, I think, from last week, who was debunking TikTok stuff. But we'll watch a few of these. Let's see if we can learn something from these. We probably won't watch it all.
Actually save your life one day. I'll go first. My name is Dr. Mike. I'm a family medicine doctor, which means I am one of the only specialists qualified to treat most ailments and provide comprehensive health care for people of all ages. One health tip I give my patients is to never stick anything smaller than your elbow in your ear canals. This is because too many people are using tools like Q-tips to pull out earwax, when in reality, they're only packing earwax deeper in and even damaging the skin, potentially leading to an infection.
Hi, my name is Dr. Glockenflecken.
I'm just going to say this. He's right. For many, many years, I did use Q-tips. And if you remember, I was getting chronic ear infections, right? I was. So now I don't use them anymore. And the truth is, besides occasionally having a little bit of an itch inside of my ear, it really hasn't affected me at all. If it's itchy, I go like this, and I'm done. And I don't think that I never needed to use Q-tips at all. I was using them for almost my whole life. Just something that I picked up when I was a kid, you know? So, don't do it, because it could lead to problems. I wonder now if I could actually use headphones again, because I stopped using the Q-tips. I don't know, but I'm not going to chance it. Okay.
I'm an ophthalmologist. Eyeballs. If you think you've lost a contact lens or an eyelash in your eye, don't worry. It cannot migrate back into your brain. That's something a lot of people worry about.
Really?
It's most likely just stuck underneath your eyelid. You have tissue layers that prevent things from moving further back.
Hello, my name's Ed Hope. I'm an NHS doctor working over in the UK in the emergency department, or as you may know it, as the emergency room. It's super useful for us if you ever end up in the emergency department if you bring a list of your medication and any diagnosis you have and the dates of any significant illness or operations, and be prepared for a long wait, so it's always good to have your phone charger too.
I'm Dr. Danielle Jones, known online as
fast.
Mama Dr. Jones.
These are like super fast, right? Huh.
And I am an OBGYN physician. That means I specialize in pregnancy and gynecologic problems. Stop throwing out your favorite undies because of period stains. After an initial rinse, grab some powdered meat tenderizer, sprinkle it on the stain, and let it sit for about 30 minutes.
Wow.
Throw it in the wash as usual, and when you take it out, the stain will be gone. Bromelain, the active ingredient in most powdered meat tenderizers, is actually a proteolytic enzyme. This means that on the steak, it breaks down proteins to make the cut more tender, but on a blood stain, it breaks down proteins to pull the stain out. It sounds like magic, but it's actually science.
Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Winters, also known as the Dentist on social media, and I am
not
actually
gonna
a
comment on that
dentist
one.
who specializes further to become an orthodontist. And we deal with moving teeth with braces and aligners.
This guy is always surprised. Holy crap, his eyebrows are crazy. I wonder if he purposely makes his eyebrows look like that, or that's natural, but dude, what is going on?
Back for you because you've probably been brushing your teeth wrong your entire life. Most people brush their teeth completely flat, side to side like that.
No, I don't.
What you actually want to do is
and down.
angle it up at a 45-degree angle and get up underneath the gum tissue as well as the tooth, because some of your teeth hides up underneath the gum tissue and you never clean it. So turn that 45-degree angle, brush your teeth for 2 minutes, and your teeth will be cleaner than they've ever been in your entire life.
Well, that's funny because what he just said is not what I was told, and of course I was told someone a million years ago, right? An old dentist, is that just what he said. If you just brush side to side, you miss most of your tooth. You have to go up and down, and you have to be careful when you do it to not hurt the gum. But you just go up and down in all the little crevices and crack, in your mouth. So that's how you get it. But he's saying angle the toothbrush and do side to side. I never heard that before, huh?
My name is Dr. Dana Brands, and I'm a podiatrist, which is a foot and ankle
doctor?
surgeon. One crazy foot hack is one of the most effective topical medications you can use for toenail fungus is actually just Vicks VapoRub. It has eucalyptus and menthol, which are both antifungal.
My name is Dr. Anthony Yoon,
I've never
and
had
I'm a board-certified
toe fungus
plastic
like that.
surgeon. One simple and natural way to plump your lips is to put a drop or two of food-grade peppermint oil into your lip gloss, and then mix it up and then apply the gloss onto your lips. It should create a very mild tingling sensation, and your lips will gently plump up a bit. If you're not tingling, then put a drop or two more in.
Yeah, but isn't that just an allergic reaction? What it is your lips are having a minor allergic reaction. Is that okay? I guess he's saying it's okay. He's a doctor.
And try again. But if your lips start to burn, then wipe it off, throw it away, and start over again with less peppermint oil.
Hey, my name is Dr. Alok Patel. I'm a pediatrician, specifically a pediatric hospitalist. So I take care of babies, kids, and teens who have been hospitalized for a variety of different reasons. Suck up some snot. For real, it's not that gross. Babies and toddlers tend to have runny noses, a lot of mucus during cold and flu season, which lasts forever, and you can help them out with a nasal aspirator or a nasal suctioning device. It clears their nose, helps them sleep better, eat better, improves their mood, and potentially prevents a problem from getting worse. It's also kind of satisfying.
Hello, my name is Dr. Austin Chang, and I'm a gastroenterologist, otherwise known as a GI specialist. One important hack I can offer for the gut is that colorectal cancer, which is the second leading cause of cancer deaths when men and women are combined, is often preventable. We have ways to prevent this cancer, and it's often with a procedure called a colonoscopy, where we can actually take a look inside the colon, find these precancerous growths before they turn into cancer and remove them. And that can actually help prevent cancer from happening.
I'm Dr. Curran, and I'm a general surgeon in the NHS.
Coming up for me.
My job has me dealing with basically anything you can find when you rummage around someone's abdomen. One day it could be cutting out bowel cancers, the next day slicing out badly behaved gallbladders. The most underrated life hack for optimized bowel health is probably just eating more fiber. Just increasing your fiber intake by 10 grams of fiber a day
Can't stop staring at his
reduces your
right
colon
eye,
cancer
which has an
risk by
abnormality in it, or some
10%.
big
It's not a bad
reflection,
exchange. 10
right?
grams of fiber is a banana and 2 slices of bread. Easy.
I didn't hear a
My
word
name
he
is
said. I
Dr.
got so
Michael
distracted.
Cellini, and I'm a dual board-certified diagnostic and interventional radiologist. One secret I'd like to let you in on regarding my field of radiology is that we see everything. If you swallowed a chicken bone, we see it. Put something somewhere, we're gonna see that too.
Hey there, my name is Dr. Sanjay Juneja. I am a hemonc specialist, otherwise known as hematology and medical oncology, which specializes in blood disorders and cancer. One of the biggest tips that relates both to hematology and oncology, and it's not very provocative, is that we need to register for bone marrow transplants. People are waiting and hoping and praying that somebody swabs their mouth and sends it in because they have a short amount of time in which they'll live and have control of their cancer, their leukemia, or whatever else, and they're just hoping this random person in the United States or Germany or wherever actually is a match that will save their life.
Hey guys, I am Dr. Shireen Idris, a board-certified dermatologist, and I am wearing sunglasses indoors because I just had LASIK eye surgery. One tip that I really think you guys have to think hard about, especially when it comes to cosmetics and laser procedures, is the following. Would you go to the dentist and get your teeth cleaned without brushing your teeth every day? The answer is probably no. A solid skincare routine is the anchor to any sort of cosmetic procedure that you get in office.
Hi, I'm Rena Malik, a urologist and pelvic surgeon. That requirement of drinking 8 glasses of water a day is a myth. This was recommended by the U.S. Food and Nutrition Board in 1945. However, it wasn't based on any sort of evidence-based scientific research. And they noted that most of these fluids are found in prepared foods. So unless your doctor tells you otherwise, drink when you're thirsty. If you are outdoors in hot temperatures or exercising, consider drinking a little bit more. The trick is to look at your urine. If it's a light yellow color like lemonade, that means you're drinking enough. If it's any darker than that, consider drinking a bit more.
Hello, my name is Rohan. I'm a consultant interventional cardiologist from the UK.
All right, and then we're going to go on now. We watched half the video, but it's kind of getting boring, right? There's some interesting tips in there, though. All right. Really not much to say about them, though. There's nothing
Unlike
really
its many portrayals, apathy is not only a state of mind, but also a feeling. The
portrayal of apathy through anime, okay?
Webster Dictionary defines apathy as a lack of feeling or emotion, which is ironic in itself because apathy is, as you'd guess, an emotion. Apathy can be hard to explain to others who haven't experienced it to a large extent, such as those who've only ever seen apathy in short bursts. Because, well, how do you describe a feeling of not wanting to do anything, yet wanting to do everything all at once, properly, and in a detailed enough way for the other party to understand? You don't. I've personally only ever seen apathy displayed properly a few times, and even that may be just my experience with apathy rather than what others have felt and thought regarding it. And just like other emotions, apathy has been portrayed through the media. These portrayals may show a base-level understanding of apathy, or they may be so detailed that the observers are sucked into the world and the characters themselves. And what other medium to use as an example but anime? Although I explained apathy as a somewhat universal feeling, anime displays different kinds of apathy in different ways. Apathy can be a result of loneliness, denial, and or a lack of trust, which is properly displayed by Oregairu's Hikigaya Hachimon. It can also be, as the dictionary definition suggests, a complete lack of emotion or interest in anything, which is present in anime through characters such as Kiyotaka Ayano Kyoji from Classroom of the Elite and Hotaro Oreki from Hyoka. The third kind of apathy can be seen as a subcategory of the previous definition, but is instead caused by a lack of challenge. Saitama from One Punch Man and Aomine from Kuroko no Basket are great examples of this uncommon feeling. Like I previously said, Hikigaya Hachimon is a good example of an apathetic character because he's a depressed and lonely fart like you and I. Hachimon experiences
Did you say
apathy.
a depressed and lonely fart? Is that what he just said? I don't know, like, I feel like there's something here, but the narrator is kind of boring, no? The narration's, like, very, very bland and dry, so it's hard for me to, like... It's hard for me to really, like, care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I wish that he had more, like, energy in his narration. One thing that I was going to say is that this is a big cultural difference between, like, the United States and Japan, is that in Japan, this whole feeling of there's so many people, and that because there's so many people, that many people have meaningless lives, and they become completely apathetic to everything around them. They don't care about anything. And there's people who become, like, completely isolated and lonely, and they don't care about life at all. They've actually started to find people who just, like, isolate themselves and just die by themselves, like shut-ins in their own homes and stuff. It's a cultural thing that's happening over there. More and more people who are going through life, they're not getting married, they're not going into any meaningful relationships, no kids, nothing. They just isolate themselves, have an isolated life, and just done. And it's very, very weird to think about, because in the United States, you think the opposite, right? Like, there's everyone's involved in everyone else's life, constantly going on. Everyone's on social media, constantly involved in everything else, right? It's a whole different, like, culture over there. And so it's funny because I agree that sometimes when you play a JRPG or you watch an anime, these characters that just seem so bland, but I think it's actually a cultural choice that in Japan, actually having those kind of feelings of apathy towards everything around you is way more common than what we would see here in the United States. So it's kind of like a cultural disconnect almost, right?
Because he's lost his will to socialize like the rest of the mentioned characters, but he's unique because he doesn't care. Now, this isn't because he's too good at everything or because he has no reason to, but because he's been so emotionally hurt that he blocks both people and emotions out as a defensive mechanism. I know that this hasn't happened to most people, but what I know is that many people have experienced loneliness, many people have hated themselves, and many people have wanted to do something about themselves so badly, but never lifted a finger to do so. That right there is a description of Hachimon's state, and although someone may not have had the same experience as reaching this state, they're here regardless.
That is something that I will say. I do know lots of people in my life who their whole life are upset about something. Man, I really hate how this happens in government, or how this is how life is in this regard, or how this is with my job. But they become so apathetic to it that they don't actively try to change anything. You know, if you hate your job, why are you still there? Because I'm apathetic. I really don't have motivation enough to try to change my situation. I just coast through doing the bare minimum and existing, but not really doing anything to improve my situation. That's of course, that's apathy. It's just, you know, you just gotten used to this monotony of whatever your life is, and you just coast through it rather than trying to take active changes to improve it. That's another way that apathy can be, you know, experienced.
This state of being or feeling is that of apathy, and it's this feeling of wanting to have what everyone else has, yet being too scared to work towards it, and instead embracing the loneliness, the dirty looks, the words, and everything else until you're numb to it all. Despite being in the state that Hachiman is in, Oregairu walks the viewers and readers through how he climbed his way out of that hole, ultimately bettering himself. Something that I find great about the way that Oregairu does this is that it's done in a slow and realistic way, unlike other shows. Oregairu shows that someone's outlook on the world changes slowly, and even despite this change, their previous views and ideologies aren't suddenly overwritten. I found myself thinking that Hachiman had stayed relatively similar to how he was at the start of the series until Season 3 started pointing out all of the ways that he'd developed. Overall, it's a nice way to show how someone develops and betters themselves. Although you feel as though nothing has changed, you start to realize how much work has been put in. When you think about it, that's why Oregairu is a perfect representation of apathy. Hachiman isn't even the only example of a character who's lost it all. He's just the most convenient one that can apply to many people. Another quick, yet great example is Eren Yeager, who has lost everything and more, causing him to fall into a constant state of suffering, wishing he could finish it all, but being held back by the responsibilities that he's created for himself. Eren was put down by his own existence rather than the people around him, making him an uncommon example that many people wouldn't have been able to relate to. Other than being pushed to such a state, being too
Alright, I think that's enough of that. I mean, this is a 10-minute video, and I kind of get what they're going for, and I haven't watched 90% of these animes, so I'm never going to understand the references, right? But, I mean, I get it. Apathy can be something in life that really heavily affects you. It does seem like it is portrayed in anime a lot more than in other cultural forms of entertainment. I couldn't tell you a single American television show I've watched where there was a character who just like was an isolated, apathetic person. You know what I mean? Everyone always has to, they have their own thing going on or whatever, and they all have their own interesting plot lines and everything. It's like I'm not aware of that happening in American entertainment, but in Japan it seems way more common. Okay.
Oh, hello, didn't see you there. I'm Commander Stephanie Sterling, and I'm a little bit ticked off because of the noise. We're supposed to be filming for the video, and now I'm gonna get a copyright strike. Thanks. Anyway, before you all start whining and complaining that, oh my god, they showed 15 seconds of wrestling again, as if it's too much, it's actually pertinent this time. It is actually a point, because first of all, we're talking about Street Fighter, which is like punching and kicking and that, and second of all, there is actually a really good wrestling-related allegory that I'm going to share at the end. So, enjoy!
Thank you.
Oh. Hi, I'm Stephanie Sterling, and I can't play fighting games. If you've ever heard me chat about them before, you'll be well aware that unless we're talking about the obvious exception that is Smash Brothers, I cannot fucking play those things. Oh, and let's take it as a blanket given that Smash Bros is an obvious exception in everything I say today because despite the shared DNA, it's very clearly distinct from traditional one-on-one fighters. I've tried here and there, desperately at times, to get into the genre, but to my great sorrow, the only fighters I've ever played to any great degree are the same ones I always bring up when I have this discussion. Historically, my fighter experience still predominantly consists of Eternal Champions, Primal Rage, and Rise of the fucking Robots. Well, I say that. At least that's the list I've always given in the past, but things are different now. For indeed, here comes a new challenger. Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, I'm an ass man.
A game so playable, I can not only casually play it, I can play it to such an extent. I'm going to be publishing the very first fighting game review I've ever written in my near 2-decade reviewing career. That's phenomenal. That's a revelation. That is the accessible fucking brilliance of Street Fighter 6. So let me slightly rephrase my introductory sentence. Hi, I'm Stephanie Sterling, and I can't play fighting games as they've existed until now. I have a memory disorder that prevents me from recalling the complex button combinations that have come to typify the genre with increasing intricacy. Even if I could remember them, I lack the physical dexterity for the buggers, while the ADHD responsible for my memory problems ensures I won't be able to keep track of them anyway alongside all the other systems and mechanics, while keeping an eye on an opponent who, by the time I've bashed into all the other hurdles, is actually the least of my trouble.
If you're wondering why I'm not saying anything, it's because there's literally nothing to comment on. Like this is basically like Comment said, we knew this about Street Fighter 6. We knew that Street Fighter 6 was going to have accessibility with input shortcuts with modern mode where you don't need to do inputs at all. It's just a button plus a direction or whatever. So like, I get it. I have nothing to say. Like, there's literally nothing to say to add to this at all. Besides, good for Street Fighter 6. I'm happy that we finally have a fully accessible fighting game. I knew that this was going to be the case. There's some of my viewers like Jade who have never been able to fully play a fighting game before and now can, you know, and that's excellent. And it's also good that this game has non-competitive modes that people can enjoy so that they can actually play the game and not have to be focused only on online competitive play. All right? So that's good. But I really don't know what else to add to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know what else to say about it. I guess we could see a little more, but I don't really know what else to say. Let's see.
It's not about getting good at the game. I've always loved the idea of fighting games, the characters and the excitement around them, but I've forever felt locked out of them because what they require is more than a simple skill check. They require certain cognitive and physical traits I simply do not possess.
That's right.
And never will. You can't get good at not having a memory disorder. You can't get good at data entry when you have a brain literally wired against being good at data entry. But fighting games evolved down a very particular path, one that championed mechanical complexity and has at times outright resisted attempts to make them more accessible. And as much as I always wanted to play them, I had accepted that they just weren't made for me. Games like Street Fighter had a very particular, very ingrained audience, and the best I'd get to do would be to spectate, like I always used to when I watched my brother play Street Fighter 2, and got annoyed because he always picked boring Ryu and not the big green monkey man or the fuckable queen in the mask. Nothing against Ryu, it's just when I was a kid, he was An Bloke TM, alongside all the more colourful characters, and everyone I knew only ever picked him. He's actually awesome in Street Fighter 6, he's like a chill old guy now, and he can't work his
Okay, I'm kind of really bored. Like, I get it. I mean, this obviously is a person who, when you watch their content, they're going to talk about from their perspective what's affecting them. I'm glad the game's accessible to them, but there's like, it's a 25-minute video. What else? What do you say for 20 more minutes? Oh, look, I can do the inputs now because I don't have to do the input button inputs. Oh, look, I can play the World Tour mode. Oh, look, I could go online and do my... I know. I know. That's a good thing about the game. Okay, on to the next video.
Today, I'm seeking a $500,000 investment in exchange for 5% of my game-changing company, Passion Footwear. So, I invented the ultimate solution to high heel pain and inconvenience. The world's first fully convertible high heels. With a quick twist of the wrist, our stylish high heels turn into comfortable and practical flats, just like that. So it's been a year and some change, and we've done a little over $800,000 in sales.
Wow.
Yep. So our return and exchange percentage is 24%.
24?
This is Shark Tank, by the way. I'm afraid I'm going to get a copyright strike any second here. As you can see, this only has 16 views, so I definitely could get a copyright strike at any moment, so I'm going to wait and see. This is a show where people will have a product or an invention, and they go in front of a group of investors who are rich people who run companies, and they pitch the idea, and if the investors like the idea, then they'll give their aid. They'll say, hey, I'll pay so-and-so for this amount of stake in your company, or I'd like to buy your company outright, or whatever. And I've watched this show with my wife a bit and seen several seasons of it, and it's basically hit or miss. Like, sometimes the investor will actually really do a great job, and the company takes off, and this person becomes like a self-made millionaire, right? And then other times, sadly, the products just don't work and they flop. You never really know what's going to happen. But I'm curious right now. I'm not getting anything yet. But every single time we watch a television show on this show, it gets a copyright claim. So I'm wondering, are we going to get it or not, right? It says intense negotiation. They probably argue, right? They probably argue back and forth about what they want. Oh, yeah. Derek says that Kevin O'Leary is on another show in Canada called Dragon's Den. It's the same premise, but a different show. Instead of Shark Tank, it's Dragon's Den. Oh, yeah? Huh. Canadian Kirk says, I can't name a product or service I've seen in the store from Shark Tank. Scrub Daddy. That sponge that you see everywhere, it's the happy face. That's all started from Shark Tank. Here, it's kind of funny. It's kind of a sad story. So there's an American retailer called Bed Bath & Beyond. And no exaggeration, they were like the store where the Shark Tank products would always be featured. And I've gone in there a million times and saw these different inventions, gimmicks, gadgets, gizmos that were because these guys on Shark Tank financed it. But now Bed Bath & Beyond's going out of business. They're gone. They're declared bankruptcy. So now the question is, where are you going to go next, right, for these products? I wonder what stores they're going to try to get them in now. Huh. Anyway, I'm going to watch a little more. I don't know. This is they're going to negotiate
the
here.
footwear average, though, is 20% just because the sizing for footwear is so difficult to
And
make
your sales are net
online.
sales after
so
all
we
returns?
No, net sales 500,000.
500,000. Okay. The
Sharp,
fan of,
right?
but how much cash do you have left in the bank?
Right now, we have about $250,000.
Oh,
yes.
How much inventory do you have?
Right now, I have $150,000 worth of inventory at cost.
What's your monthly burn?
Our monthly burn right now is
Mark
about
Cuban, by the way,
$90,000 for
owner of
marketing.
basketball team.
Your burn is $90,000 a month?
Yes.
So you have 3 months of cash left.
Yes.
You don't really want to give up more than 5% here.
I mean, I appreciate the value that a shark brings to the table.
All right, look, I would make you an offer that looks like this. I give you the $500,000 for 5%. However, I get paid a royalty till I recoup $1 million, and then that royalty goes away. And then the only negotiation we have to have is how much that royalty should be. I would like it to be $5 a unit.
I'm not super interested in a royalty.
So this is what happens on this show. The person will come in with their company. Here's what I want. I want you get a 5% stake. Oh, here we go. I got to skip it, by the way. We got to go right now. We just got the match. They go in, they'd be like, oh, I want to sell 5% of my company. You invest, you get the 5%, and that'll get my company back up and running. And then the investor will be like, no, I want 5% of your company, plus I want you to pay me money for every sale, plus I want this and this. And so there's this hard negotiation back and forth until they finally find a happy medium that they agree to, or the whole deal's off. So, and what happens is, because there's different investors in the room, they'll all compete against each other sometimes, saying, no, I'll go better. I'll do a better deal than that person over there. And they'll just, go like back and forth again. Sometimes it's cutthroat. Sometimes they get real pissed at each other because they want the deal, and they keep kind of undercutting each other and everything. It's a very interesting show. But sometimes I do wonder if it's all truthful or if some of it's staged. They have like these feel-good stories around the holidays every Christmas where they'll take the dumbest company and it's like, why are they doing this? I don't know. But anyway, sorry, I knew that was going to happen. Every time that we watch a television show like that, it gets claimed. So, all right, we'll do one more. This is short, and then we'll split the part. Let's see what we got here. Me to NPCs who mind their business in Street Fighter 6.
Wait, no!
No thanks. I was waiting on my Uber. I was waiting on my Uber. Get to me! Yeah! Oh! I said I didn't want to fight! Got deep. That wasn't a fight. My Uber.
All right. That's true. That's World Tour mode. World Tour mode, you just beat up everyone in the street. Some dude's fucking picking his ass, eating an ice cream cone. You run up and beat the shit out of him, You could punch. I ran up and I punched like old granny in the face. I uppercut her. That's what the game's like. But I think that's sort of the appeal of the game, is that's supposed to be silly. So, all right. Thank you for watching DSP versus the Internet. That was part 2 for episode 19 for June 24, 2023. I hope you're enjoying. If you are, consider, maybe becoming a member yourself, and then you could be a person to suggest the videos for next week. When we come back, we will continue on with our Ultra member submissions and get into the standard member. But thanks for watching. I'll be back shortly.